Okay. From Enchiridion again. If you wish to be well spoken of, learn to speak well of others. And when you have learned to speak well of them, try to act well, and so you will reap the fruit of being well spoken of. Epictetus, Enchiridion. My name is Herna.
I'm Harris.
And this is the Power of H show, episode 2, technically.
Yes,
We'll get that lost episode up sometime.
Eventually.
Eventually. So we'll just go with that.
Right.
Opening up with that quote, what do you think about that? Because I know you and I in the car right now on the way here to the little makeshift studio we got going on. We were talking about like gossip,
Right.
People trying to spread that shit, or they just come over to you. You mentioned it a lot at your workplace.
Yeah.
People try to come up and like just start gossiping, man.
Yeah.
Or even I've noticed it at one of my work, because I work in different spots. I have an actual day job, and then I work somewhere. I work at a tattoo shop, so I'm not gonna name which fucking workplace.
Yeah.
But
I get what you mean.
It's one of those areas, man. I had some shit was going on. I told you what was kind of going on before right now with that girl and ex, and one of my other co-workers or peers, I would say, was like, yo, what's going on with them? It's like it doesn't even matter. I tell them, I'm like, it doesn't even matter.
Unless it applies to work, it shouldn't even
matter.
Up. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to talk shit. I don't like to talk shit as least possible, because sometimes you do get...
Yeah, sometimes you fall for it and you wind up getting caught in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's... I fall for it sometimes, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
sometimes I'll find myself gossiping some of their fears, and like I'll walk away and be like, damn, I should not have done that. that was dumb, So like, I think realizing it is kind of like half the battle itself. But yeah, I think it's easy to talk shit, essentially. I find that probably one of the biggest things that people do is they use it to create a foundation, so that way they can make a connection, essentially.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to just walk up and just start bagging on somebody. Oh, so-and-so said this. Can you believe that? And it's just like instant gossip. Now you have a connection with somebody because they're looking at that going, man, I can't believe that. Now, boom, you got a connection. Yeah. You guys are going to be able to have a conversation, talking shit on somebody. And it's easy, You don't have to think about it any further than that. You've got a foundation established. You can have a conversation for hours, just stem directly from that, I mean, it's easy, essentially. So it's a sketcy ground.
It also, I think about that saying, it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right, that's perfect.
Like, you probably because people stem from a status of like, oh, they see someone doing something or acting a certain way that they don't like, and then they meet someone else in the same area that kind of like they don't like that shit either, so that's what brings them together, is their dislike for a person.
Exactly,
and that's
dude.
So shitty, bro.
It's shitty, but shitty, it's so common, bro.
It is, man.
That happens all the time because it's such an easy connection. I find that like even sometimes I'll meet somebody new, and like it's kind of awkward at first, because it's like you got to gauge how to talk to this person before you could just talk to this person. You can't go up and like throw down a dirty joke and expect them to like laugh at it, like you got to get to know the person first before you can kind of know what to say to them, so you can't just like pull any topic out of the air. So it's kind of like easy when you see someone dislike somebody else and you're just like, hey, we got that in common, right on, and you can just like hold a full conversation with that. So it's an easy way of doing it, but it's not the right way of doing it.
It's not the right way of making a friend.
Not at all. It's a bad foundation to start with that. Horrible. You know what I mean?
Because who's to say again that once you turn your back, that they ain't gonna talk shit on you?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, not only that, but
they're already talking shit on another person.
What I find is most dangerous about that type of a situation is that they put their opinion into your mind, right? Especially like I find it most common is that they'll put their opinion of an event that you weren't a part of into your mind, and so you now walk away with that opinion of said person. Oh, so and so said that this guy was this, that, and the other because of this. So you walk away partly believing that. You're like, hey man, so and so said so like, if he believes so firmly in it, it's got to be true. And when you're walking away, you're like, nah man, that's screwed up. Just because you partook in that little bit of gossip for that moment, you walk away with somebody else's screwed up opinion of somebody, you know, and that shit sticks with you.
It's also going back to because goddamn, it's hard for any of us to admit that we're wrong.
Yeah.
So right. So for instance, let's say you have like you do have a couple, you know, like a couple's just bickering at each other, and they're exactly like, oh, well, you know, I'll probably use some like fake names and you know, like I'll just use some examples because I think it's better. You know, I like to clear it up with mainly examples, and you know, this guy's name is whatever, John Doe, and he's talking shit about his girlfriend Rachel, and he comes to you. He kind of knows you maybe at work, or he probably knows you through a friend, whatever, and he's like, yeah, my fucking girlfriend Rachel, that fucking bitch.
Right.
Like,
and he's venting.
I know she's probably talking to some other dudes, or I know she's acting like a fucking stupid, whiny bitch.
Yeah.
Like, she's just, oh, I'm so sorry about this. I screamed at her, and now look at her. She's fucking, look, she's saying this, like, oh, I'm so sorry. What a stupid bitch. And you're, like, sitting there, and, like, and I've been in this before. Almost quite recently, where I'm just like, okay, dude, like,
damn, bro.
I really don't give a fuck, like, in the sense of, like, dude, I don't need to be, like, listening to this stupid shit, like,
I don't need to be a part of this.
Well, what do you think? I'm like, and in my mind, it's hard because if you tell them, well, what the fuck is your fault in this, all this shit? Where's your fault? A lot of people will be like, well, I can see how it's kind of my fault, but she still did this. Yeah. I'm like, nah, motherfucker, like, just
you gotta really be accountable for yourself. That's a big factor.
That's hard.
A lot of people, I find, you know, just kind of as a bit of a finishing topic on this, you know, that with gossip, they typically spit fire about other people, and that's kind of what I call gossip, because you're not doing any gossip in genuine good. You're spitting straight fire about somebody, you know, like you are just spitting bullshit about them. And like 90% of the time, people will spit fire about another individual and be like, but really, my shit doesn't stink, you know? And it's like, no, dude, like, you gotta look at yourself. You know, like my favorite quote is, you know, you can't live in a glass house if you want to throw rocks, you know? And it's just like, well, yeah, because if you throw rock, somebody's going to throw rocks at your shit, bro, and you live in a glass house, so, like, something's going to be...
Shit's going to come asunder.
Exactly, you know what I mean? So that's funny, that accountability, bro, that does definitely go far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
You gotta be accountable for your shit.
Absolutely. So much easier said than done. Yeah. You know, one of those other great things that's easier said than done, bro.
And you gotta be accountable for what you put out there too.
Yeah.
That kind of leads me to one of these points that I wrote down during the week when we were talking. It says, because you and I were talking about like putting shit out there, and you're kind of new to the whole getting super into social media now with this podcast, and like, you know, just trying to get this out there, and like, and putting something of substance out there versus you called it like, oh, most of the time on social media, a lot of us are just throwing garbage out there, not really throwing anything of substance out to the community, out to just to say something, you know, that's positive and could probably help
they just
someone.
Share shit just because,
because, but and that kind of struck a chord with me because it's just like, because it's true. You know, most of the time, a lot of people can put up garbage or put up just like opinions that aren't informative, not an informative.
They just don't benefit anybody.
Yeah, exactly. But when you're trying to put stuff of substance out there, via like, you know, getting your podcast out there, via your artwork, via whatever it is, maybe mindset wise, maybe you're playing music and you want to bring that out to the world, sharing lyrics, sharing whatever it is your thing is, you know.
Yeah, it could be an extremely powerful tool, but people tend to just almost abuse it, you know, because it's fun. You know, a lot of people, dude, they just use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, whatever it is, dude. A lot of people just use it for fun or something to scroll on, just to continually scroll, you know, and like that's definitely a big thing that I'm going for, is that you know, I'm excited to essentially figure out social media so that we can share the podcast and, you know, share stories of growth, you know, because I've never given social media much of a shot at all, dude. Like, I've never really been a fan for it since day one. You know, I tried and I shared stupid shit, but I'm just like, man, this is just no point to it. You know, I don't care to continue with this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that is true. But you know, that also leads me to another one of my bullets, is that in the modern day, dude, that a lot of people, they do have like a master-servant relationship with their phone, you know, and I think that social media is a big factor in that, because a lot of people, they get essentially addicted to social media, you know, that it can become dangerous, you know, that you have to, essentially, you have to master the phone. You got to be the master of that little device, you know what I mean? Otherwise, that device is, every time it dings, every time it vibrates, every time it buzzes, it's controlling you. You know what I mean?
Correct.
If you're doing something and you're working hard on something and that phone vibrates and you drop it to run over and pick that phone up, that phone just dictated how your life is going, you know? That phone became the master over you, you know? And I see that so many times throughout the day. Like on my drive home, so many people are driving with one phone in their hand and another hand on their steering wheel, and they're just cruising, and their eyes, like, you can just see that they're like looking at the road, but then they're back at their phone and they're typing something, back at the road, and then back to the phone. And it's like, bro, not only is that extremely dangerous, you know, like, you mean to tell me that whatever you're doing on your phone right now is so incredibly important that you can't put that down and drive to your destination and then pick it up when you get there? Like, that, I don't know, I don't get that, you know. And so then that, like, leads me to believe, like, yeah, dude, these guys are absolute servants to their phone. That phone lights up, it doesn't matter what they're doing, it doesn't matter how hard they're doing it, like, that phone takes priority, you know. When you're driving and you're playing on your phone at the same damn time, that phone has ultimate control, you know what I mean? And it's dangerous, essentially. It's a slippery slope, man. So I kind of have my little opinions on it.
It also, I believe, goes all back to that comfort thing. We get in an awkward situation, man, you know, like, I don't know how many times I've probably, like, been on a date with the girl or something, you know, and, like, I'm very good, and I do take pride, I'm very good about when we're actually hanging out, if I'm hanging out with a friend, or, like, most of the time there's a girl, like, to keep the conversation rolling, keep it going, so they, you know, no one really is on their phone, but, like, the minute I step away, man,
it's out.
Yeah, because it's uncomfortable to just, and try. I've been there before.
I have,
you know,
absolutely, bro.
When you're like, you know, I'm gonna go, like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and you're like, all right, you know, chilling, and you're just kind of sitting there, like,
awkward silence.
Hard not to reach in and see what's going on for no fucking reason, either on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Fill in the blank. Yeah. You know what the fuck I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
Goddamn.
Well, everybody's phone, like, they're personalized to themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, your phone is different from my phone, you know? Yeah. Because your phone is your phone. Yeah. It's got your content. It's got your apps where you want them. It's got what apps you want. Like, that is your little device, you know? So,
it's catered to you.
It is completely catered to you, you know? And everybody's is the same. Like, there's just a little funny idea. You ever pick up somebody's phone? And then they're like, yo, dude, just, like, open up my pictures and, like, go to my last picture and check that shit out. You pick up that phone, and it's like you've never picked up a phone before. You know, you just, like, open it, and you're like, okay. And you just kind of, like, find yourself, like, swiping through. You're like, where's these pictures, you know? And then, like, and I know how to work a phone, but everybody's phone is different. You know, I could pick up another iPhone and be like, oh, okay, man. Like, all right. How about you just show me the picture?
It's not on the same. It's not on the same page. Yours
not at all, dude. So, like, I gotta relearn their device. So, like, a lot of people, their device is like, that's their little home. Yeah. You know, that's their little digital home, dude. It is so comfortable. Yeah, I like the way that you put that. That's funny.
Yeah, it's and I noticed it a lot too. Me working in a tattoo shop, or just or wherever I'm at. If I'm running too, man, Jesus Christ, bro, like. A lot of heads are down. A lot of people just pull them out for the sake of trying for the passage of time. Yeah. And they're really kind of looking at their environment saying, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what that person's doing. Or pay attention to whatever it is their surrounding is. And then our awareness decreases, I think, because of it. Yeah. So I think at this point, and distraction's always been there. It's just easier now in today's world because we have the phone. Distraction has always been there. I'm not taking that away. I'm not blaming everything on the phone. The phone just makes it easier for us to be distracted and easier for us to be comfortable, you know. And I've noticed some people, while they're straight eating, man, just have to have it out. Oh man, dude, I see that so. Like, while they're eating, they just have to still have it out, and it's just like, dude, just like. I mean, I go through my food pretty fast, and people are like, "What the fuck?" Do you even? Yeah, because like, you see me.
Did you even taste that?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I taste it. It's fucking good. That's why I ate it fast. But like, that's the misconception. But for real, it's just like I'm enjoying it. But like that's still enjoying my food versus like me having to have the screen in front of me all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't.
No.
Because maybe you're eating, you got to keep the knowledge going. Maybe
right. Yeah, maybe you're multitasking or something. Yeah. Maybe that food isn't quite as important. But, I mean, the majority of the time, bullshit.
Enjoy the food.
You could go to a restaurant, bro, and you will see so many people. I actually went recently, and I saw an entire family, bro. I mean, this is a mother, a father. I believe there was 3 kids, okay? Every single person had their phone out, playing on their phone while eating. I'm like, you guys paid money to leave the house, and you're sitting here, and you guys aren't even interacting with each other. You know what I mean? You guys are just like, oh, here we go, phone's out. It's like, damn man. Just imagine the amount of conversation, the amount of knowledge that just didn't get passed around because they were busy.
Just not interact. It's just
zero
no interaction. Bro.
Yeah, that's so almost tragic in the modern day, dude. But that's a little bit off topic here. Just kind of,
no. That's there's not always the course correct.
Right.
It goes where it goes. Sometimes.
Exactly, dude. But I wrote down a bullet here that I've actually thought a lot about, and I just wrote down confidence. Right.
Correct.
Okay. Now that's big, because like some people they just genuinely don't have it, and some people they're on the process of building it. Like me, I can confidently say I'm working at building that shit. I like having confidence in myself. There's some areas that I'm just not confident in, and I'm just like, all right, I'm working on it. Some places, dude, like I can walk outside and I'm just like, hey guys, and I'm just the loudest guy in the room. I'm confident, I'm who I am. I'm comfortable, you know what I mean? So what are your thoughts on just overall confidence?
First off, if you're going to go for confidence, I think you're going to piss people off.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude.
Asserting yourself, dude, people don't like that, especially today. People don't like people that are just assertive and strong.
On their shit.
Alpha as hell, dude. Like, people don't like that, man. It's intimidating. When somebody walks in, they just walk in the room, you're like, damn, bro, this guy is, like, not fucking around, It's a little intimidating. It puts you off your game because you're like, whoa, dude, this guy, he's way more confident than I am, and it's a little weird,
Yeah, I've definitely gotten some hate before for it.
Right.
I've been told before, when I first met you, I couldn't stand you. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Where's that coming from? You're like, I don't know, you just seem so cocky and like, but then I got to know, you're pretty cool. But because I like to.
They assumed one thing.
I think there is a point where it doesn't become confidence anymore. It's more just egotistical.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you need to definitely know when to humble yourself. And I have a trouble with that because sometimes I do believe like I take it over the top.
Yeah.
I take it to a point where it makes people uncomfortable. How like I just fucking push them. I'm just like, you ain't gonna do shit. I was telling you about that guy. I'm like, yo, do 5 pulls before you leave. And he's like, why you gotta talk down on me? I'm not talking down on you. Get your ass up there and do you owe me fucking pull-ups for fucking not being here.
Right.
So get your ass up there.
Yeah.
But they did them and I was good. I'm like, hey, I appreciate that. Thanks for doing the pull-ups. I'll go do mine too.
Yeah.
But that's off top. But I'm just saying, like that type of thing. Be confident, but stay humble as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the ego is a strong thing, man. I know so many people right now. I'm not gonna name names because that's not cool.
No, that's not what we're here for.
That's not what we're here for.
We're here to use examples.
Exactly. But like I know so many people that are just so ego driven, and I mean, like it's hard. I don't know if you've been around very many people like that. It's hard to be in the same room as someone that is so driven just by their ego. That like they just walk in the room and the way that they speak, what they speak about is just like all about themselves. They never speak about anybody else. They never inquire about anyone else. It's all just about themselves, and you're like, wow, man, if you dropped your ego for like 10 minutes, you would have friends, like you would have genuine friends, you know what I mean? And because a lot of people like, I got my ego, I'm the shit, and it's like, I don't need anything else because I'm the shit. And it's like, bro.
But look at you, you're weak.
Right?
You eat like
you're soft,
you're soft. You eat like shit. You stink like shit, bro.
Yeah.
You don't even take care of your body nor your mind.
Yeah.
You know, like it's that type of shit when someone
exactly. And I'm not trying to say like, "Ooh, I'm better than anybody." No, that's not the intent at all. But like, there are some people that are just extremely ego driven, and I feel that it really harms them. You know, because there is a bit of a fine line between confidence and ego. You know, you could let your ego take over, and you're like, "I don't give a shit what anybody sees. I'm killing it right now. I'm in the zone." You know, and it's like, yeah, dude, you got confidence, but you could push that shit way out of confidence easy. You know, and I've done it. Oh, yeah. I do it all the time, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, I do it. But like, what made me think about this, write this down in my little book here is was about posting our previous podcast. Yeah. You know, and I mean, I know people that have started podcasting, and they put the work in and then just never posted it. They just maybe somebody won't like it, man. Maybe it just won't pan out. And it's like, bro. Yeah, people aren't going to like it. You're going to get people that are going to think that you are just full of shit and they're just going to ignore the hell out of you. You know, yeah, that's absolutely going to happen. You know, it doesn't matter how good you are or what you're doing. You're going to get some shit, you know? I mean, like, that's inevitable. But, you know, you kind of got to be a little bit confident and just like, yeah, man, I don't really care what anybody says or what opinions come my way. Like, I'm putting this out there because I want to, you know. I feel I want to. So just do it, you know. Have that confidence to be able to do that shit.
Yeah, and don't listen to, I think, the people who aren't doing what you're fucking doing. I think we had to talk about this too.
Yeah.
Just like the criticism you'll receive if, like, for instance, when you're probably, when you're probably talking about like a book to someone. And then you just get 2 or 3 other people all mashed together against you. It's like, oh, why would anyone want to like read? Tell me what is lame, or why would you read it for someone to tell me how to live my life? Right? Well, it's like, motherfucker. At least I'm reading,
right?
At least I'm trying to put in the work. And I think I even told you this too. There was someone who because I told you about the goal every day. Yeah. We have the goals every day, the daily goals, and someone criticized my daily goal. Right. In fact, 2 people criticized my daily goal, and I was just, you know, at that point, a little bit of ego struck up. But sometimes, like you said, you have to also know when to fight back.
Yeah.
You have to know when not to listen to people and be like, you know what? Fuck you, dude. Right. I don't see you doing what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to better myself with this goal, whether you agree with it or not. Whether I need it, I don't need to listen to a motherfucker who's just a poser.
Right.
Or for that instance, not even trying to, like, at least a poser's trying, maybe. You know?
Yeah, at least they might be giving a little bit.
They're giving it. Right? Maybe I'm the poser, shit. But, but if someone's not doing, or even trying to attempt what you are trying to do,
or even anything,
why the fuck even listen to that?
Exactly,
shit, man?
Yeah. Why
even, bro? Right, well, it's just verbal diarrhea at that point.
That's so true, dude. Yeah, because like, I do think that, you know, that kind of goes back to that confidence thing. It's like a lot of people, when you attempt to do something that is hard or even unusual, you know, I mean, like, I can only imagine the amount of weird shit you've gotten every time you say that you're running a 100-mile race. I can only imagine, dude. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've given you shit for it, dude, because that's crazy, you know what I mean? Like, but like, when it comes right down to it, like, you gotta have a little bit of confidence. Be like, yeah, dude, I'm doing that. And I don't give a shit what you say, because, I mean, you're going to get negative feedback all the time. You know, like what I even made mention of. A lot of people, they put down goals because they see that you are doing some incredible shit. You're pushing yourself. You're striving to be way better than you were yesterday. You know, and they're not. So they want to put down your shit because misery loves company. And when they see you, like, killing it, they're like, but that's stupid. That's a dumb goal. I don't know why you're doing that. And it's like, motherfucker, what goal are you attempting right now, you know? It's like, don't come at me with some bullshit if you're not doing anything, you know? Like, I'm not going to fucking take that, you know? Because, like...
Or they can never see themselves doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, they can never even, like, picture that in their mind. So they're just like, that's dumb. That's so stupid. And it's like, bro, who the fuck are you to even tell me what's right or wrong? You know, like, you're not doing shit. You know? It's just like, you know, a lot of people anymore, they don't... And I don't mean, like, fight back, like, be a dick, you know? Because that's a different thing. But, like, a lot of people, they don't defend themselves. You know, and I'm pretty big on that. You know, if somebody comes spitting some shit your way... Defend yourself if you're in the right. if you're in the wrong, yeah, now you're just being a dick. Now you're not defending yourself, dude. You're just being a dick. But like, if you're in the right, defend that shit, bro. You know, like what? You're just really gonna let somebody like walk all over you? Why? Because they want to make themselves feel better? Fuck that, dude. Let them go do that with somebody else. You know what I mean? Because I'm not about that shit.
Yeah.
You come bringing some shit my way, I better be 100% in the wrong. Or I'm probably gonna tell you to fuck off, you know, like up yours. I don't give a shit, because it's like if you're giving me genuine criticism to better me, that's a totally different story.
On a daily basis or even weekly basis, how often do you think you get that type of criticism?
I mean, it's not common actually, like because like genuine, outright, just like I don't like what you're doing, so I'm just gonna criticize you. Mm-hmm. That's actually not at least in my life. That's not very common. You know, because like sometimes they'll come up and they'll criticize you, be like, "Hey man, I noticed that you need to fix this," and it's like, okay, yeah, bro, I appreciate you catching that. Thank you. You know, like that's a genuine that's genuine criticism. I can learn from something like that. But when somebody comes up and they're just like spitting some bullshit at you just because they're in a shitty mood or something and they just want to put you down, that actually doesn't happen a lot. I found. Yeah. You know, that's why I think defending yourself, not a lot of people think to defend themselves because that's not a common everyday occurrence, you know? Sometimes shit just gets thrown your way. And like most times, like, you know, I'm a firm believer in like picking your battles. At least I've learned that because I used to just like, if you criticized me in a positive way, I was like, fuck you, man. Yeah. You know, like I just didn't like that. So
young
like
adolescence.
Yeah, so I made a point to learn to just like pick your battles, you know, like learn when to fight and when not to fight. And so anymore, I'm very cautious of that. I try and learn as much as I can from anybody that I can. But yeah, dude, sometimes you do get some shit thrown your way, and it's like, wait a minute, you're pinning this on me, and it's not my fucking fault, you know? Like, I'm not going to take that. I don't take that anytime. If it's not genuinely my fault, fuck you.
But the thing is, it is also hard not to be a dick sometimes.
It is so hard, bro.
And you know you're wrong.
Right.
And, you know, and someone throws some shit, you're like, man, really?
you gotta like bite your lip. You're just like, thank you. Now go the fuck away.
You know, someone pushes you the wrong fucking way. You're just like, oh, you fucking.
Yeah. I cannot believe you just did that. You know, yeah.
I'm gonna come at you maliciously.
I'm gonna rain down hell on you so fucking hard. You know,
some girl. It was funny, and she was just joking. I thought it was funny, and she's just like, "So what are you? You know, like, are you just a tattoo artist, an ultra marathon, or now you're a motivation guy?" And I'm all like, "Okay, I kind of feel attacked. What the fuck's up?" And she's like, that's not really attack. I'm just coming at you a little bit malicious." And I was like, "The fuck does that mean?" You know? And then I looked it up with evil intent, and I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "No, I'm fucking around." And I'm like, "Oh."
That's funny, dude. I like that.
I was like, I totally went off topic there, but it was just funny.
Yeah, no, that is funny.
I was just like, what?
Right? Yeah, because that's good, man.
On the topic of some people coming at you malicious, I suppose. That all links up.
Right, yeah, because that, like, I'm a firm believer, like, somebody pokes you, man, if it's in a negative fashion, defend yourself, man. Nobody does that shit anymore. That's why everybody's so easy to just, like, poke everybody. You know, sometimes it's funny. I poke at people all the time just for a comedy effect.
Yeah,
you know?
you can poke at people and it's totally cool. Like and I think it's huge nature in males, especially if you work in a very, like, for instance, a very big male environment. When I was in the Marine Corps, I worked as a cook, and we worked in a kitchen. There was just like. And at some point, my whole crew was just males, man. Okay. It was just all males. And I'm not going to lie, dude, those are some of the best fucking times.
All right.
Because you all are pretty much on that level of, like, and if they're all cool, and which we were all pretty cool, where we could just be like, yeah, you fucking bitch, you fucking pussy.
Right.
Like, we would throw ice cubes at each other and, like, block with our sheep hands. Like, we would fuck that kitchen up, and it was fun.
Right.
Or we would also be like, you know.
Because you knew how far you could push it without pushing it too far.
Yeah. And even then, you could push it really far and still be like, damn, these fuckers, man. Like, that's, like, the best environment to be in. It's a very male, like, I think... That's needed probably for females too. I'm not a female, so I can't talk for females.
I don't know myself. Yeah,
but I do know talking shit can be fun too.
It can be, bro.
It's a lot of fun.
I have a couple of people that I can, like, I can fuck around
shit.
with that, dude. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've got a couple of people that, like, I could just, like, talk shit, bro. Just like mad shit, bro. Out of nowhere, I could just like start talking shit, and it's funny, you know, because that's just like the relationship we got.
You talk shit to me.
I do, bro.
A lot.
You know, exactly. You know, because like that's the relationship we got. Right. I can talk shit to you, and it's funny.
Yeah.
And you can talk shit to me, and it's funny. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's how we got that shit. You know, we know how far not to push it. We know what topics not to touch on, you know, because that's a sensitive shit. Don't fuck with that, you know, like. But some people, they just don't, man. They push that shit, and they're just like, I don't give a fuck, you know. Now it's like, whoa, you're being a dick, dude. like ease off a little bit, and they're just like, I don't care, and you're like, whoa, all right, okay, you know. It's funny, man. It's a bit of a dangerous game, I guess.
Yeah. It's a fun, dangerous game.
It is fun. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Dangerous.
Oh man. So what you got on your list now, man?
I have. You said something the other day too that really struck with me. Also, it was. This is too big of a world to focus on the same shit every day.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah.
It was we were kind of touching base on the phone, but it's almost like I believe there's positive routines and then there's negative routines.
Absolutely.
You know, positive routines is like how we touch base on the topic of morning routines and nightly routines, or having a set schedule of just like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and this. You know, my day's planned, but. There's also the negative routines that we go on throughout our day if we're not pushing ourselves and kind of inviting a little bit of suffering or uncomfortableness into our lives on a daily basis.
Right.
Which, example A1 could be, hey, I wake up with the shitty fucking mood because I barely got any sleep last night because I probably drank a fucking coffee and stayed up watching Netflix before bed. I only got like 3 hours of sleep, but my sleep was shit. Now I'm going to work all pissed off.
Yeah.
I go to work, have a shitty attitude, you know, try to bring shit onto other people. I go home, I'm fucking eating the shittiest food, watching just shit on TV or on my phone all night. And then rinse and repeat, and it's just like, I was like, "Fuck, man!"
Right? Yeah. No wonder you're miserable.
No wonder you're miserable because you're not exploring the world.
Right.
Like you said, it's too big of a world for us not to explore what's in it for us to do, man. Like, there's so much things to do. You can go rock climbing. You can go. We live in Utah, man. There's trails right now. It's starting to get sunny, bro.
Today was a beautiful day.
Gorgeous.
You know? But a perfect example of that, like. I ran and I broke my personal best today.
Yeah.
I ran 9.6 miles, right?
Yes.
I was even like, it was
Hell
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I felt good about that shit. But, like, as I was running, I feel like I might have, like, broken down some walls in my head, you know? Because I was able to push myself past that point of, like, oh, man, I'm tired. And I was able to give even more and run. I was only aiming for 6 and I went for 9.6, you know, so I was able to really crush my goal today, and I went above and beyond, and I felt really good about it, you know. But like that by itself, that was a form of suffering. Okay,
and
my legs
and a
are
form
sore.
of exploring the world.
Exactly,
exploration.
You know, because like my legs are sore right now. Like, yeah, that was rough, you know. I mean, like, no, that wasn't the roughest thing I've ever done in my life. But yeah, that was tiring, you know. Like, I when I came back home, I sat down. I was like, I'm glad I'm sitting down, you know. But I was able to learn something about myself. I was exploring the world. I took off running, dude, and I just went, you know. I was just like, hey, let's see where I wind up, you know. And I got to see some pretty cool stuff. I got to take a new route that I normally don't take, and yeah, I got to explore my mind, essentially, you know. I got to break down some of them barriers, you know. And I hear you talk about that a lot. You'll say that you were, like, at the gym or something, and you were like, man, I had, like, a breakthrough today, you know. And, like, today, I finally, like, for, like, the first real time, because, I mean, like, I feel that I've had breakthroughs, but I've never had, like, a breakthrough where I was just, like, I was hurting, I was suffering, I wanted to just stop. I was just like, dude, I'm just going to turn around and go back home, you know. But to push past that and to just, like, wow, dude, I don't know where that energy came from, but I feel good. I could go on, you know, like that's like the first big, like, yo, dude, because like I've gone on big old long hikes and I've made it to the top of mountain peaks before. And like that's a bit of a different story because you're on the mountain, you know. What are you going to do? Stop and be like, hey man, I'm halfway up. I'm just going to head on back down and wait at the car for you guys to finish, you know. It's like, nah, dude, you're there, you know. You have no choice but to just keep going and make your way down, and then when you're done, you could just like collapse, you know? So you have no choice but to keep going. But when you have an opportunity to stop, you know, when you've got, hey man, I could cut, you know, make a quick little shortcut home, and I could cut off all of my run right now, and I could make it home at 5 miles, and I could just sit down. When you've got that opportunity there, you've got the ability to just quit and just go back to being comfortable, and you push past that, and you force yourself to stay in that moment, there's some serious power in that, man. And I sort of like unlocked a little bit of that true power today.
That's that flavor.
Right? That's that flavor, dude.
That's that. I call it the fucking, that's the awesome sauce, bro.
Right? Yeah, that's the awesome sauce, man, because I could have stopped, bro. I could have stopped, man. I was like going, I was like, man, I feel I could shit. Like I'm running. I was like, man, I have got to take a fat shit. I was like, bro,
toilet paper.
Right? Yeah, I brought some. That was good, bro. But I was like, man, I could go home and just take a shit real quick and come back out and finish my run. And I was like, wait a minute. If I go home, I'm not coming back out. You know, that's not gonna happen. I was like, screw it, dude. Just keep at it, dude. Just stay in there and just push and push and push. And I was able to just like push past it and go another like 3.5 miles of what my initial goal was. And I was just, wow, man, that's incredible to be able to find that power, you know, just digging deep and, you know, and to push into that, you know, that was a good feeling.
You know, so you haven't had the shit on the side of the road at all?
I have, dude. I actually have, man.
Right, okay. So embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, bro, but like, actually, I lucked out a little bit because I was longboarding at the time, right? And I was longboarding, dude. I was like, I put in my headphones and I just started going on this trail, bro. I was like 3 miles away from home, dude. And I was just like, oh my God, bro. And I had to shit like you wouldn't believe, bro. So I had to run off the side of the trail, bro. I ran off. I dipped behind some bushes. I leaned over. I wiped with a leaf. Like...
Typical, that story. Like, oh, just wipe with the leaf.
Yeah, so I was just like, I ain't got nothing else. I'm wiping with a leaf. I just like got back on that trail. I'm like, all right, it's time to go home. Like, I gotta go, dude. Like, so I have been there, but no, that's not fun. That is not fun at all. I pack toilet paper every time I go somewhere, dude. That's at the top of my list.
I always make sure I shit beforehand.
Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I don't know what it is. I've been able to master the art of... I'm not lying. I know we're totally getting off topic, but dude, I'm being fucking serious when I say every morning before I run, if I am running, my body knows. I sit down and meditate, and I even tell myself, like, hey, I need to poop right now, body. I'm not, this is what I tell myself, and it's just like, okay. 5 minutes after the meditation's over, it delivers every time. Every time, bro. I'm not fucking joking.
That's great.
It's every time. It's just like, man. I'm going to make sure you're empty today.
Right? That's good. That's a good thing. You trained your body for that. That's good.
It's pretty incredible, honestly. I wish I could train people how to do it, because some people, I know that's an issue with some people.
Absolutely, bro. Like, and it's the thing too. Like, when you start running, 9 times out of 10, your body's just like, hey, guess what? You had some shit just chilling here. It's gonna have to come out here in a minute. Like, you're in the middle of your run. You're like, oh man, really now? That sucks.
The worst.
Oh man,
the worst.
Right. So let's see. Just to bounce off topic once again, I got a little bullet here that says, pay attention to the present moment.
Correct.
That is a big thing.
Yes.
I've been making a point to do that this week. There's a spot in the shop that I work. So I work auto body. I work on cars. And there's this spot that you like. They have a little storage area up on top. You like take these janky ass little steps to get up there, and you can like store, you know, whatever, just up there. And I go up there and I make a point to just like take in the moment. So I walk up these steps, and like a lot of times nobody even like notices you, because you're like you're up above everybody. You know, nobody's looking up in a shop. So I just go up there and I kind of take a moment to just like to soak in the environment, you know, see what's changed, what's different, you know, kind of like how I'm feeling, you know. I just kind of take like a little mental screenshot of the moment, you know, because a lot of times like there are so many times where I wish I would have like taken a mental like screenshot, you know, if I'm doing something incredible or if I'm going someplace, you know, just like if I stepped out and just been like, wow, you know, I try and make that habit to make like a little mental screenshot, because it helps you to remember the moment a little bit better, you know, what you're feeling, you know, because I read a book this last last year. It was Evolve Your Brain by Joe Dispenza, and in it he explains how basically how the brain, how it takes like these mental screenshots. And like a lot of people, because of the phone, you know, they think like a screenshot, you push 2 buttons and it just like ka-chink, you know, takes a little picture of the phone. And your brain, it doesn't do that, essentially. It does, but it doesn't, you know. It memorizes how you're feeling. It memorizes what you're smelling, what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're touching. You know, it basically takes a screenshot of your senses, okay? And like, you know, let's say when you're running, you know, you can think back of like, oh man, the air was clear, you know, it was beautiful. I just wish I could, you know, told you what it was. I remember I was like, you know, I was on mile such and such. I was tired, you know, my hands were sweaty, you know, because your body, it doesn't just like take a little photograph of that moment, you know. It takes a mental screenshot of all your senses, what you taste. Oh man, I stopped and I ate some trail mix and I looked around, it was beautiful, you know, and it's like, yeah, you know, and so I try and do that, and now that I kind of understand how the brain takes little screenshots like that, I try and focus a little bit more on what my senses are feeling at that moment, you know. And so like, what are kind of your thoughts on being present in the moment, making a point to
being present,
to be in the present?
And I would say it's very hard to be present.
It is.
That's what it is. So I do it a lot with meditation. That mostly, you know, that's when you can really get present, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good way.
You can get deep. But to kind of, I want to be present more always.
Yeah.
You know, the more the better always.
Right.
You know. The more I can do things without maybe the music, the more I can do things without looking at the phone, the more things I can do with just being by myself.
Right.
And just kind of just with my thoughts and just what's around me. You know, the better it is, I think, for the health, man.
Absolutely.
And I think this whole week I just took on the challenge. I've been putting it off, and I finally did it, man. I'm glad it's the last day. I finished it to this morning. Was the half marathon every day for a week.
Yeah.
And that was pretty gruesome, dude.
I imagine.
You know, I broke new records this week. That was cool.
That's good.
All new records, man. Personal best on half marathon ever. But this morning, it was the last half marathon. And all week, man, I've just been pushing just because I want to get it over with every morning. And this morning, since I didn't have work, I didn't have to go to the shop. I'm essentially, this is my day off. I was able to stop at around mile 10. And I climbed up, man, like a kid, bro. Just like I saw a wall, like this little under freeway pass, man, and like it was a ramp, but to climb it, I was doing some Assassin's Creed shit, like I had to put my fingers in cracks and climb up. It was it was a pretty decent climb, man. And I went up there and I'm like, the sun was out. I thought it was gonna be raining, but the sun was out, and I got up on there and you can see Ben Lomond Peak. You can see all of it, dude. All of it. There's clouds. It's just beautiful, and I was just like, I'm gonna take advantage of this moment. All week I've been rushing.
Right.
All week I've been rushing, just getting these shit done. It's like, you know what? I can put a pause to it, my Strava, and I can just take in the moment for 5 minutes. I need this. And up there I got pretty like, okay, I got some thoughts, and I posted up a video, and I just had to.
Great video, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Great video.
It was just those thoughts, man. It was, you know, be here now. Be here now, man. That's the most important thing you can do. And I find and that's ultimately what's gonna dictate how your future goes, man. Because tomorrow's done.
Yeah.
And yesterday's done. My bad.
Yeah. Yesterday's done. Tomorrow's
yesterday was the easiest day of them all.
Right.
And then tomorrow we don't know what's gonna happen. But right now you take advantage of it and be like, hey, I'm here right now. I'm gonna do my damn best to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And do my best.
You know, it's like, I've noticed a lot of people, you know, like tax season just came around. So a lot of people are going on vacations and everything. And I see so many posts of like, oh man, take me back to this and this and such and such. And it's like, okay, but what are you doing right now? You know, what are you doing in the present? Are you just like sitting there just like, oh man, I wish I was back there just chilling on a beach or something. Oh man, I wish I was. It's like, okay, but like bring yourself to the present, you know, because I'm guilty of this, dude. Like I find myself, even today during my run, I was like, I was at mile 7.5, and I was just like, man, I can't wait to get home. And like for like a good solid while, I was just running, just like imagining going home, just like, oh, sitting down and just like relaxing, you know.
I can fuck with you, man.
Right? And I was just like, no, dude, like I still got a good little bit to go, you know. And so I was just like, nah, man, bring yourself to the present right now, you know. Let's kill it right now. And I remember I sprinted a little bit. It was a bad idea. That was a terrible idea because that shit hurt so bad. But like I remember I was just like, bring yourself right now, and I just like sprinted a little bit. And I got a good run in for a bit there, and I was just like, don't focus so heavily on what will be. Bring yourself right now, because I find myself guilty of that all the time. Like it'll be Wednesday, and I'm like, man, I can't wait till Friday. You know, like, oh man, Friday's gonna come and it's gonna bring this, and this, and it's like, okay, yeah, but you're wasting the moment right now thinking about something that may or may not come in a couple of days. You know, it's like try and bring yourself into that moment. You know, that present moment. That's huge. It's important. It's important to be able to get shit done, essentially.
I like that.
Right. Yeah. But also another note. That's funny that you say something about you were just climbing that wall like a kid, because in the I was doing the audiobook for the PMA Effect by John Joseph.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, dude, like absolutely. Too, yeah. It was Think Like a Child.
Yeah.
I got that because even in this book it was he says where if you ask a kid what they want to be when they grow up, possibilities are endless, man. You're gonna get answers of some of the most incredible things. I'm gonna be a rock star. I'm gonna be the president. I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna be a firefighter. And it's like, hell yeah, dude. You know, because a kid has that imagination to think of the impossible and just like go for it. You know, they could just visualize the impossible. And in the PMA Effect, he says to make sure to don't lose that spark. Don't get caught up in the day-to-day just grind and just like forget to think like a child, to go and goof off and play around. You know, you said today you saw that and you were just like, man, I'm climbing that. That's going to be fun. You even told me how fun it was, you know, that you had a genuine feeling of like almost childlike nature, just climbing a big rock, you know, and it's like, that made me feel good, you know, that made me feel happy because it was like, hell yeah, dude, you know, you just, you know, you just kind of forgot about all the crap that goes on throughout the day, and you're just like, man, this is gonna be fun, you know? Like, just think like a child, goof around, do something impossible that you may or may not be able to accomplish. Just do it, you know? Think like
they don't, and the thing about a kid is when you notice them play, like, listen to them talk, man. Listen how they're like, their imagination, and they still haven't been infected, and I would say infected with the idea of what someone will think about their idea or their imagination. That's a good word, infected.
Bro. I like that.
They haven't yet been, told, oh, hey, that just sounds stupid, or that sounds crazy.
Yeah, they have no anxiety.
There's no anxiety. They just know, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. I don't give a fuck.
I'm having fun, dude. Yeah, I'm picking up a Lego and I'm running it into a car because
this fucking stick right here is now a motherfucking sword, and you're gonna pick up another stick and we're gonna
beat the shit out of each other
because we're fucking samurais. Right. That's what they see in their mind.
Damn right, dude.
And it's fucking cool,
right? Yeah.
That needs to be a constant type of thing.
It needs to be way more common.
And I read it in this book called Mastery one time. Yes, you want to think like a child, and of course, if we were thinking like children all the time, then no shit would really get done.
Right.
But there needs to be, because a child will just continue to play.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you got to take the meshing of just like intellect and imagination and put them together, dude, in order to create something of like a value to yourself.
Exactly.
To yourself.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was like this podcast, for example, is a wonderful example of it. Because, like, I've had thoughts be like, man, wouldn't it be cool to make a podcast, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like, it's fizzled out so many times where I just, like, never really gave much thought behind it. But then, like, now here we're doing it, and it's just like, yeah, man, you almost get to be a little bit childish about it. You get to have fun with it, man. Yeah. It's just like, it's a moment where you're not really working. You're working at something because we're creating something, but you get to have fun.
Yeah, the conversation just goes.
It just goes, dude.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, dude. It's way more fun than just, like, you know, working, clocking in, doing whatever, you know, like, you get to just have a little bit of freedom. You get to just use your imagination.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so much fun, you know, so I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, you gotta keep it alive.
Right.
If you lose it if you don't, what's that fucking saying? You lose it if you don't use it, bro.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah.
I mean, I know that's more towards, like, maybe some other shit.
Screw it.
But
it fits.
But it's imagination, bro. Like, if you don't use that shit, you know, you lose it, man.
Right, but let's see this piece right here. So I wrote it down while I was listening to the PMA Effect, And I'm actually wondering to get a little bit of your insight behind it, because I remember that you've talked to me about it, and you've even said, kind of like some kind of, dare I even say, like revelations towards this. You know what I mean? I remember reading that, going like, "Damn, that is pretty dope."
Some deep,
right? So I mean, like, kind of go on to this a little bit.
You want me to read it from here?
Yeah, sure.
So this is taken from The PMA Effect by John Joseph. Excellent book if you haven't either read it or heard the audiobook. I prefer the audiobook for that one just because John Joseph's a hilarious motherfucker.
He's great, dude.
So it talks about the chariot, the 5 horses, the reins, and the charioteer. It's taken from the Bhagavad Gita. I want to say it's plate 5 or 6.
Okay.
It's in the Bhagavad Gita. Shit, my Bhagavad Gita is over there. It's right here. All right. So the rider hears the individual Jiva, you, the soul. If the charioteer falls asleep or is not alert, then the reins, which are to be controlled by the charioteer, will become loose, and then the horse will go out of control. This then ends up in the destruction of the chariot and the rider. So what does that mean? Is in the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about the chariot being the human body, the 5 horses are the 5 senses, the reins are the mind, and the charioteer is the intellect. If that's correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I always and I've talked to people about this because it was hard for me to understand at first.
Oh yeah, when I first read or listened to that, I was just like, whoa, that's a
jumbo. Because a lot of the time people, if I tell people there's a difference between the mind and the intellect, you would think it's kind of, it's the same fucking thing,
right?
But it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Our mind knows what it wants, and our mind seeks comfort.
Okay.
It knows it wants to seek comfort and stays away from suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Our mind also, it wants to do just shit. It sometimes just wants to do.
Yeah.
So we go throughout our life with these 5 senses that we're given at birth. For some reason we are given these 5 senses to go about navigating this world, navigating planet Earth,
right?
Along our journey, and our mind, it knows pleasure. It sex feels good. The mind knows that.
Yeah.
Fucking weed, alcohol, it makes me feel good. I like that.
Yeah.
Not me personally anymore. I'm just saying that's our mind.
Yeah. The body can recognize that.
The mind knows. Hey, if you're an artist type, hey, I like to draw. That feels cool.
Yeah.
It can go both ways, man.
Right.
The mind knows. Hey, this piece of chocolate cake is delicious. Cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you're really into cucumbers, so I like cucumbers. The mind likes it.
Yeah.
But if we give control over to the mind with our 5 senses, and there's no intellect behind it, then our mind will just go off and do whatever the fuck it wants. I.e. drug addiction, i.e. sex addiction, i.e. fucking bad habits, getting lazy, not going to the gym, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and
you need to have the intellect.
Yeah, so right here it says that the charioteer is basically the intellect. Okay, he's basically the guy that's driving the chariot.
Correct.
Okay, and it says that from there, so the reins, that's the mind. So the intellect controls the mind, and the mind, it is linked to the 5 sense organs, which is the 5 horses. So the charioteer uses the reins to dictate the 5 sense organs.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what I thought was really cool, is that kind of that comparison, essentially.
It's a really good comparison.
It's really good, because it's great. Especially at the bottom, it says that the rider hears the individual jiva, you the soul. So your soul essentially it hears that. If the charioteer falls asleep or is not alert, then the reins, which are to be controlled by the charioteer, will become loose, and the horses will go out of control. So if you essentially, your intellect, you just kind of let your mind do the roaming.
Disassemble.
Just to go crazy. If you just let go of the reins, the 5 sense organs are just gonna go crazy, dude. They're just gonna do whatever the fuck they want. They're gonna seek out the pleasures that they want, to go as far and as hard as they want. And this ends up in the destruction of the chariot and the rider, because you no longer have control, essentially. And so I thought that was really powerful. That was really great. That was a good way of kind of looking at, the body and the control that you have over your sense organs, the mind, the intellect, all that. I thought that was pretty great. I really feel like that's powerful.
Hence the term Hence the term, what's it called, lost soul.
Right. Yeah.
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I think of, because your soul is the writer of this whole body.
Exactly.
Going through this experience, and that's. We can get lost, man, in this world. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you can see it. You can see it, and it goes up and down the food chain, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the homeless man, and it's with the rich, dude, and it goes up and down. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So.
But yeah, I think that, you know, that's. I guess we can use that as like a little final topic. You know, that you've got to take control over your organs. You've got to take control of your mind. And you essentially have to do what you need to do. Otherwise, if you let your intellect just take a nap, your body, it's going to continue doing what it's doing. You know, those horses are going to run wild. And you have to take control of that. You have to be able to have the self-discipline to not do something or to do something. You know, you've got to be able to create that discipline and take control of the mind, the body, the senses. You've got to do something with it, essentially. Don't just let it run free. Don't.
Otherwise, you just become a fart in the wind, man.
Right? Yeah, because you're
like a fart in the wind.
Fart in the wind, man. You're gonna blow away, and nobody's gonna notice, man.
No, be a little stinky.
Well, yeah, people are gonna notice the stink.
Oh.
Yeah. Absolutely, everybody's gonna be like, "Ah, man, get this fucking thing out of here, man." You know, so you gotta come into something positive. Take control of your life.
You do.
Right.
Take control. Be a child. And don't put up fucking garbage out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Create something.
Compliment people. Maybe if you have to fucking force it.
Just compliment.
You know, learn
to
compliment, man.
That's a big thing too.
Tip well.
Yes.
Tip your barber well. Tip your tattoo artist well.
Mm-hmm.
Tip them well. They need it.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, be a good person.
Be a good person.
Just
That's the biggest thing, man. Take control of your life and be a good person.
Yes. Super good.
Right on. Well, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode with many, many more to come. We're having too much fun to just stop.
It is. It's good. And I'm excited. We were supposed to have a guest today, but unfortunately, he didn't get in contact with me, or I tried getting in contact with him, but he never responded. But that's okay. So hopefully we'll have another actual guest for you next time. I'm hoping you'll like this guy. He's a guy I met in the gym. He's really knowledgeable about like health and
right on. I'm excited to talk to him.
He's got a good mindset, man. I think people are really gonna dig him. He's a cool dude. His name's Frank. I'm really excited to bring him on.
That'll be fun, dude. I can't wait.
Awesome. This is Herna.
This is Harris.
This is the Power of 8 show. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys next week.
See you later, guys. Have a great week.